A Few Goldilock Bears podcast with Vincent Cloud.
John Nemitz.
Matt Hagen.
And we here on the show like to start off with a little segment called Deja Fuse, or forebears, barebacks. I don't know, but I wanted to reference John. You were like, "Hey, we should get tattoos or like the logo," and you were talking merchandise, right?
Oh yeah, I'm all about the merch.
So I'm like,
make some cash.
Yeah, a t-shirt. I have 3 t-shirt ideas. One says, "I love A Few Goldilock Bears podcast." And the other,
I think I see where this is going.
But I would love it or hate it if someone was walking around that says, "I hate A Few Goldilock Bears podcasts."
Or just the I'm indifferent to one. This would be great. Like, then why are you wearing a shirt about?
That would be so good. You know what? I learned how to do shirts, make shirts in art class, like way back in the day. Screen, I think it's called.
Screen printing, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that anymore, nor do I own a screener, but that'd be great. I'm all about that. I want to make a shirt.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out.
Three shirts. And we'll all wear one of them.
I think the only shirt should be "I am indifferent" to the 3 Goldilocks. That's kind of like an inside joke too, right?
Very true, very true. So let's get this show started. Does anyone want to start off? Anyone's got a passion?
Sure.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, I'll just come out and say it. I love singing in the car. I when I have to drive, put on some tunes that, sometimes it's always music I like, but not necessarily my favorite music, but there's specific music that's just fun to sing along with. You get stuck in traffic, it's not so bad if you have a fun activity like that. Like Matt brought up the Vandals a few weeks back. They're a great band to sing along to. They Might Be Giants I have a lot of fun with. There's others, but like
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry, if she were to come onto the radio and it was a song I knew of hers, I'd sing along.
You know them all, don't lie.
Oh, actually, that gives me a deja vu. There's a from the cross-genre cover songs episode, there was a European polka band called Los Colorados that did a version of whatever that Cold and Hot song is by Katy Perry, and it's pretty awesome.
All right. Well, okay, I'm kind of surprised though, John. I just want to jump in real quick. And this is a deja vu or bareback. You said like you had to sing in a choir when you were a child, and you were like, "Oh, it's traumatic" and stuff like that. But you're fine now. I mean, is it because you don't want to sing in front of people, or you were subject matter?
Honestly, I didn't mind the singing in front of people part. It was just the all the time wasted doing rehearsals and that kind of stuff.
Where you're just like, "I got the song. You don't."
I got this. Ready. Maybe everybody else can stay back for rehearsal, but some of us got it here.
So how long? So you were in choir like up until 5th grade, or how long?
I mean, probably all through St. John's through the K through 8.
Oh, so it would have been 8. Yeah. Because I was in choir too, 6th and 7th or 8th. Yeah, I was like 8th grade too. I'm pretty sure. So. I was told I sound like Ben Stein when I sing from somebody. I forget who. That was a like, good barb.
Monotone?
Kind of like monotone, apparently.
Yeah.
I think we're all going to end up singing and trying to harmonize at the end of this. We'll see.
Gosh, I hope so.
It didn't help that the lyrics were Bueller. I did. Well, that sucks. That's too bad, because you know what? I sang in high school, like 3 years, or was it 2? I don't remember. Maybe 2.
I didn't know that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, you got to go where the ladies are, man. But why not now? Matt, did your voice change? Like, or were you always just like, do you think you have a monotone like voice or what?
I'm sure I do. I don't think I've ever heard a recording of myself singing, but
Can you
yeah.
sing that song about having dry red eyes?
I understand this reference, but I don't remember the song.
I don't think there actually is a song.
Let's see.
What?
Dry red eyes, burn inside. Yeah, I know what you mean. That's a deep dig. That's from way back. Whatever
John,
happened to Ben Stein? Whatever happened to that
uh,
guy? I hope he didn't die or something. Sorry if you're still alive, and I assumed you died, Ben
I
Stein.
think somebody won all his money and he just had to go to the poorhouse.
It's like I gotta go back and write for Richard Nixon again.
I forgot that was a thing.
I believe he wrote "I Am Not a Crook." So, John, when you did sing, do you remember what you were? Were you like a tenor? Were you a soprano? Although I don't think you were.
I had a high child voice, so my mom was the choir director and always made me sing with the girls, which now I am suddenly remembering why it was traumatic.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Oh.
So then, like, as soon as my voice dropped a little bit, I would just try to sing the bass parts. Like, really, really reaching for the notes, even if I couldn't hit them.
That's awesome. What is it called when you're a false
falsetto?
That's a man going into
no. The one
right?
where you fake that your voice is deeper. It's called massive profundo or something like that. It's pretty cool.
I don't even know.
Yeah. I sang baritone, the one that's right in the middle, baby. Yeah.
See, I think I was told like I couldn't really do baritone much. Like I would do bass, and then when I would try to bring it up a little bit, it was tenor. So I was never in that baritone range. I don't know. Singing wasn't my forte, but singing in the car, I'm good at that.
What I wouldn't have given to be in that baritone sweet spot.
My whole life would be different, man.
But in the car, though, Matt, you were like, "Oh, I could sing better in the car." Is it like singing in the shower for you guys, where like you're just uninhibited, you could just let it out and stuff like that?
Oh yeah,
absolutely. So
even when my wife is driving with me, like I still annoy her with it. Oh yeah.
I kind of reserved, like I'll kind of hum,
oh man,
kind of quietly sing, but I don't belt it out like I do.
That should be something that you need to traumatize your kids with.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask some more stuff. Like, so you guys, John, you sing with your significant other. Matt, you do not.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. We've never duetted on a song together, if that's what you're asking. Vince, do you sing in the car? Come on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that singing is one of the great pleasures in life. Even if you can't sing, everyone should do it. It feels good coming out. It's like a shit.
Yeah. Well, it's like a stress relieving shit, right?
It's out of your mouth.
Out of that over the windshield. Vince spilling his drink all over the dash
again.
That's so funny. I actually spilled something in my car today. I was like, thank God none of this is touch screen.
What did you spill? And what was how did you spill?
It was this. Oh wait! Oh no! Oh God! Never mind.
Perfectly clear water.
Hold it in front of your shirt. Hold it in front of your shirt.
No, it's fine. It was just a drink, and I spilt it a little bit. I don't know.
So were you holding it, and then
I knocked it over while trying to get to my beers? Yeah.
Got it. Say no more.
Okay, so yeah, singing is fun. On a date once, a girl and I sang songs in the vehicle. That's
like a fun date.
That's how
What
much
did
I
you sing?
actually enjoy singing. I really do. Yeah, it's terrific.
Was she not a keeper? Could she not sing? Did she not like the same music as you? What happened?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, she could sing. But
Mhm.
relationships end, Matt, or some do. I don't know if you're.
Well,
What is
I
this? Your first fucking girlfriend that you married, like right
well,
on
I
the
mean,
spot?
it's um I'm just curious, what you guys were singing and whatnot and how it
Okay,
went down.
okay. Well, this seems a little intrusive for her,
That's this
maybe,
whole thing
but
is intrusive.
right. The Moulin Rouge soundtrack.
No
Oh,
way.
that's classic.
Isn't that full of cover songs? Speaking of cover songs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Even cross genre at that.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. What
Uh,
what is on that soundtrack? Isn't there like, do I want to say Nirvana or something?
Yeah, they're on that. Others.
Elton John.
Et cetera, et cetera.
Fucking what's that song? Roxanne by the Police. It's such an amazing album, by the way. That's a future love. Probably the movie, but all of it tied into one. Hey, that was nice. Do we slip out of John's love and into someone else's hate?
No,
Yeah, if
no,
you're volunteering
no.
for that. No.
John, do you have like a favorite song, or like you just
I
you just
I'll
whatever's
just
on the playlist?
I'll just put on like a full album usually and just go through it, whatever
Mhm. Do you find
whatever the
that you
theme of the night.
that you know all the lyrics to like certain albums that nobody would
Oh,
expect?
absolutely not. Like
Uh-huh.
I'll do the thing where you just say gibberish that kind of sounds like what they're saying, and it's still fun.
Mhm. Mhm. I've got I've got like almost entire albums that I've heard many times that I know almost all the lyrics, but you're right. You kind of you can't quite catch what they're saying every once in a while. So it's like, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's definitely some that I feel like I probably know all the lyrics and could maybe sing them without the even listening to them at this point. But I'm not claiming to have flawless abilities there.
Oh, that's a shame.
but no, when you get the melody, it's a special time. Um,
It's a special time.
Yeah.
Red eyes, Bernstein.
well, I guess we'll just move on when Matt deems it necessary.
It's necessary. Go ahead, Vince.
I'm
I
not a
didn't want to go.
crook.
Yeah. Let's get into an indifference. Have you guys heard of the band Greta Van Fleet? Speaking of songs.
No,
I
I don't think
know
so.
that name from somewhere, but
Okay.
I don't think I could tell you a song.
I'll tell you, I'll give you a hint. You have heard them before because they sound exactly like Led Zeppelin.
Hmm.
Yeah, like the singer completely ripping off Robert Plant, the bombastic guitars and stuff. You're just like, this is fucking Led Zeppelin. But they're like these young Canadians, and they're like, we grew up on Led Zeppelin records, so that's that happens all the time. People, they end up sounding like they're whatever, they're idols. I'm like, yeah, but it's a blatant ripoff of a fucking band that exists. The reason why I'm indifferent to it is because so we could just sound like however we want. Okay, well then I'll start a band and we'll sound like fucking Oasis in that case. You know what I mean?
Good luck.
But also though, I was like, God, I should be more pissed about this, but I'm not, and that's because Led Zeppelin is known to be. I think they've ripped off more songs than any other band. I don't know if you guys read about that stuff ever that pops up.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard about a couple of those.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean they're like the original, well, not original, but one of like they were the biggest
Not at
band back
all.
there. No, like one of the original rhythm and blues ripoff artists, and that's where it all started, and everything's a descendant of that. So yeah, is what it is.
God. It
What do you
is
mean,
what
oh
it
God?
is.
It is what it is.
It's what it's.
It just reminds me of Matt's he kept on bringing up white privilege. He's like, come on, let's talk about it. I'm like, ooh, there's something that Matt's passionate about. And when it comes down to white privilege, Matt's like, it is what it is. It's like getting mad at the sun. That's all he wanted to say.
I did not say any of that. No, that is not true. You want to talk about white privilege? Okay, let's bring in the white privilege again. No, I mean, how many sounds are there? How many sounds are there out there? You got a guitar and you play a certain rhythm. You've got a certain style, and then you just kind of expand upon that. Rip off, yeah, you're sort of ripping it off, but you're expanding upon that. Like we could call any type of rock and roll that's going on today, metal, hardcore, whatever. You could call it ripping off of something before. I mean, there's only so many sounds to go around when you really think about it.
I see what you're saying, but I feel like you should have at least two influences.
I mean, like if you're blatantly ripping off like Led Zeppelin, it's one thing.
Like it's Led Zeppelin meets, Reba McEntire or something. I don't know.
Reba McEntire out of all things.
The Levy breaks. The Levy breaks.
Was that your Reba McEntire?
Share way to heaven.
we were talking about Tremors, pre-show, so that had me thinking about her.
Oh, she was in that, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was a shooter.
Wait a minute, this is not Reba. Who is this? This is shooter. This is just Sean Connery.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know. Do you feel anything at all, Matt's? I'm sorry I brought it up, but John, what about you?
I don't know. Like I'm trying to think about it. Like I guess I would have to hear how much exactly they sound like them. But I was thinking of like some band I liked that broke up or whatever. Like if someone else came around and was like, "Oh, we're trying to continue in their legacy or something." Like if it was good music, I don't know that I'd be opposed to it.
Okay. I think that's ultimately what it comes down to. Is it good? If it's good, it's good. I mean, there's plenty of stuff that's ripped off of other stuff, but I mean, if you nail it and you're confident, and you got to kind of have your own take on it though too. I mean, you're talking about these guys being just a direct ripoff, but this would have been an instance where yes, you tell us beforehand of this band, and then we could actually research it. Sorry,
don't even get me started on that. Oh my gosh, I have a new segment in my head right now after you said that. Okay, so we're gonna take the segment's called a Goldie look behind the scenes. Matt and we had this back and forth about the previous title. And I was like, all right, I'm going to change it because Matt wants it changed, and this is a collaborative effort. So I will, what do you call it? I'll work with you, Matt.
Compromise.
Compromise. But then Matt on the other end is like, yeah, well, you know how you want the indifferences to be a mystery? Never again. He's spoiled like 3 indifferences since then. And I'm like, why am I bending over backwards for Matt when he will not budge for me?
Oh man, Vince, let me tell you. So sometimes it makes sense to keep the indifference a secret, but other times you kind of want somebody to at least think about your indifference before you get on the show. Like I think it kind of started with that whole fusion episode where I was talking about the whole fusion energy, and everyone's like, I don't know what that is. I didn't hear any breakthroughs. So then I'm just kind of stuck. So I want to bring it up occasionally so people just have a chance to at least collect their thoughts. But I am not the bad guy.
Maybe we should if then one of the loves or hates does not warrant that same level of pre-discussion, sure, maybe keep one of those a secret then.
Sure, I like that. Let's do that.
Yeah, I suppose singing in the car could have been a mystery.
Yes, that would have been a good mystery.
Oh, you guys weren't like trying it out all week just to see how it felt?
I've never done this before. Incredible.
I can't sing and steer at the same time.
But yes, I like that. Let's keep one thing a mystery when it makes sense.
Awesome. Terrific. Something good came out of all that conflict, and that's really what Matt wants. All right, are we moving on from Greta Van Fleet?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. Conflict. Let's see. What are my topics this week? Is there a big no, I don't have a real big conflict. I think I've got one coming up that's gonna stir up the controversy. But let's see. Let's do a hate. I want to talk about anime a little bit. I hate anime. I don't understand anime. I don't understand the love for it. I don't understand why there's a whole culture about it. I don't understand why there's anime bros who just watch anime and that's all they watch. Like I could see somebody mixing in, like if they kind of like anime, mixing it in with other types of media, but there's anime people out there that just watch nothing but anime from what I see, from what I've seen before. And maybe this is probably a big stereotype, but I've seen this out of some people. I just don't get it. It's so obvious. It's so unsubtle. It's just there's all these little these like grunts and these sound effects that you hear in anime. Exactly. I mean, and it takes me out of it. Even some of the supposedly good stuff. There's a lot of like classic animes. I've seen a couple of them. I've seen like Akira, that's from the 80s at some point. I've seen Grave of the Fireflies, which is supposed to be one of the ultra serious ones. Studio Ghibli, however you pronounce that.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful film in my opinion.
So you've seen that before?
Yeah.
I liked it. I'll say that I liked it, but it could have been so much more.
Also, a friend told me to watch it, and I had no idea how devastating it was going to be.
See, it's got its devastating moments, but then towards the end, everything is so obvious and so on the nose. And then there's it I seem to remember it ends with this big kind of heartbreaking pop song, and I'm just ugh. Like it's this really cheesy. I don't even know how to characterize the pop song, but it didn't hit right at the end. Like it could have been so much more. Like it's sort of a missed opportunity. Like I would love to see that story done in live action, but I suppose that's sort of a sacrilegious thing to do, trying to remake a classic anime like that. But getting back to my point, yeah, I don't understand it. I've kind of watched some stuff with some people, and I lived with some guys that were kind of big into anime once upon a time, and I just never ever got into it. But John, you said you like Grave of the Fireflies. Have you seen other animes? Are you
there's a lot of stuff I like. I mean, I just kind of think of like other movies, like if I see a list of movies that people are recommending and a couple of them happen to be anime, I'll just watch them like they're any other movie. You know what I mean? Like I like Pixar films. I like stop motion stuff we talked about, and I just think of anime as like another way of making a movie. To your point about the weird anime culture, I don't really know much about that, but I've watched I think every single Miyazaki film, like the Studio Ghibli ones, that he directed anyway. And like you didn't like any of those, like Spirited Away or Totoro or
those are both on a list that I will get to someday. Like I like to approach it with an open mind whenever, something classic like that would come up. I would like to approach it like that, and I typically do, but stuff about it just takes me out of the experience.
Yeah, I mean there was one I think just came out a couple of years ago called Your Name, which I thought was really good. But your complaints definitely show up in it, like the cheesy pop songs, like that definitely is a theme in a lot of these, and I could see how that would take you out of it.
I think it's there's like a stilted quality though to it too. There's like a stiffness and yeah, there's just kind of a stiffness about it that I can't get over too. Just well, we already talked about the weird sound effects and the kind of weird stuff. And then
Well, and then it's also important, like a lot of the movies, you know, like there's the subtitles versus dubbed audio debate where 90% of the time the dubbed audio is going to be horrible and you'll just want to listen to the original audio but read the subtitles. With the Miyazaki ones, Disney actually did a really good job of hiring good voice actors and stuff, so some of those are actually pretty good, I hear, but I tend to just do the subtitles anyway.
Let's see. Vince, thoughts?
I have a wonderful response to this, and I credit Matt. It is what it is. I don't get it. Can't you see how infuriating it is what it is to say that on a podcast where we're supposed to express ourselves and give these other angles?
You're never going to let this
what's
go,
the
are
point?
you?
Why are we talking about this at all? Why bring up anything? It is what it is.
It was one tiny thing about what we were talking about. It was like, okay, so you're ripping off Led Zeppelin, but somebody was going to rip off Led Zeppelin. Actually, it was Led Zeppelin ripping off original R&B blues music, and somebody was going to do that anyway, right? I mean, it was bound to happen because there's only so much music that can come from certain instruments. I mean, it is what it is sums that up.
Yes. Well, okay. The anime
right
thing.
Yeah. Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say. I mean, you guys. I said a joke just because you guys covered basically everything. I will agree that it's. I mean, I think it's better to listen to the original dub. You know, there's something about certain anime where the voice acting, I just don't like it. You know, although they can reach those like high pitch, like, you know, I don't know. It can be found in the original dub, but I prefer that. My brothers love Full Metal Alchemist. I watched some of that. I was like, okay, but it is, I don't know. It is very tough. It's an indifference to me. Yeah, for sure.
And there is some weird tonal stuff too. Like I watched a season of this one called like Demon Slayer or Demon Hunter or something like that. And it's like, in my mind, pretty clearly meant for like adults. Like, you know, there's some gory kind of violent stuff in it, but then there will be like some really just childish sections to it where, like, I don't know if they're actually trying to appeal to kids or if it's supposed to just be like a nostalgia for like, oh, this is, you know, remember the shows you watched as a kid or something like that. Like that part really confuses me.
You are absolutely right. I've seen that too. There is some weird tonal shifts that don't really seem to make sense. I agree with that. That's a good point. Anything else, Vince?
Like I said, you guys covered so much. What is it called? The Floating City or the Floating Castle? What is that one? Flying Castle?
No, there's Howl's Moving Castle and there's Castle in the Sky.
Oh shit. Okay. Fuck. I thought I watched some of it, and I think in general, I think my family likes anime more than me, or they talk about it way more. Like Yoga. Fuck. It was something on Adult Swim. I don't know if you guys ever catch that stuff. They'll put anime on Adult Swim sometimes. Fuck. What's his name?
Don't know.
Fuck.
I pretty much avoid anime though. But again, like I have this list of classic movies that I am going to get to one day, and maybe one of them will jump out. And
I will say, like, I watched Akira years ago. Like, it was probably the first ever anime I watched, and I did not get it, and I have not watched it since. Now, Matt, do you not like anime because you always prefer the original manga?
I'm not even sure what manga is. Can you describe that for me?
Just play along.
Not really. It's like graphic novels, I guess, but in the style, like the drawing style.
Oh, yes, yes. Okay.
I don't know what it takes to specifically be a manga versus just a graphic novel.
Okay. I would imagine it is the style. Actually, I kind of prefer the hentai myself. But...
Could have guessed.
The manga that goes the other way. You open it, yeah.
Whoa.
You read it the other way. That's kind of cool.
Okay, Vince.
I wanted to really though add Inuyasha. I believe that's how it's pronounced. That was on Adult Swim, and my whole family were like quoting it, like my mom and my little brother and sister. And yeah, it's just something that yeah, I don't dislike, but I have seen some bad anime. But I think overall, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
I'd move to Japan and be right at home eventually.
I've never had my mom quote anything to me ever. Pretty sure. So you just said that. I'm like, has my mom ever quoted anything to me ever? No.
My mom has definitely quoted the only thing worth quoting, and that's the good book, the Bible.
Oh. You beat me to it, John. Damn it. I was gonna say that. All right. Well, moving off of anime onto something more American.
Yes.
Is it you, John?
Is it me?
Or is it me?
All right. Has everyone gone once? Then it's me.
Okay.
My indifference is pineapple on pizza. It's fine. Like, it's not a crime. It's not like the most amazing thing anyone ever thought of. Like, why is this such a heated debate for people?
This is a good one, actually. Yes, this is a really good one. I haven't had pineapple on pizza in a long time, but I totally agree. When I've had it, it's fine. It's a nice little change of pace. I'll get my slice of pepperoni sausage and whatever else, and then I'll have my pineapple and Canadian bacon here as well. So it's a nice little change of pace. I don't hate it. I don't love it.
Say the line, Matt. Say those 5 words.
I don't know what 5 words. Did you actually count the words? I don't know what it is. So do you know where the music industry would be today if Led Zeppelin didn't rip off Howlin' Wolf and Robert Johnson and whoever else? It'd probably be exactly where it is right now, because somebody else would do it.
Matt, it's not at all what we were talking about. Just the fact that you said it is what it is on a podcast where we're supposed to like discuss. It is like one of the most like blunt stops. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, we got to bring up 9 topics. We got to bring up 9 topics.
Okay, well, pineapple on pizza. Yeah, it's fine too. Ooh, but fucking, if I can have that in Hawaii where the pineapple is fucking fresh, ooh, that'd be good. That's about the only thing that I would like to experience. Not the only thing. But when it comes to like
can die a happy man.
Yeah, nice bucket list, bro.
Your one item bucket list.
It's more like a thimble. It's so small. Well.
All right. Nobody. We're all indifferent to it. So yeah, I didn't go anywhere.
So does anybody know someone that actually loves pineapple on pizza? Like that's their go-to?
Actually my mom, I think like the classic Canadian bacon and pineapple is probably her favorite pizza.
Wow. Yeah, I mean there is something to that salty sweet thing. I get it. I understand why someone would love it. It's like chocolate covered pretzels, right? I understand. It's just not my go-to. Not my go-to at all. Not even close. But
it is annoying though, where when the haters are like, "What? That is so stupid. Get the fuck out of the house."
Yeah.
You know, like it's such a
And like I know it's been a thing since we've been kids, and like they're still like shocked every time that someone would do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fancy pizza place around here that has one called the Fire Breathing Dragon, and it's like spicy, and then also has pineapple on it. So like the spice and sweetness is also a pretty good contrast.
And that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not one I get every time, but it's good on occasion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you kind of feel sorry for those who do love it, right? Because there always has to face those fucking pricks, that make a big like, ew, like they just scrunch up their face, and it's just like, let's be nice, I don't know. That is super annoying. That's almost like a hate, just the people who, well, we kind of brought it up before, like
actually that's kind of an ongoing thing. Yeah, like
the gatekeeping culture thing. Yeah, that's the ongoing thread and all this stuff, but it is what it is.
I want like horns to play and like graffiti to fall every time he says it.
So buy your "It Is What It Is" t-shirts now.
Oh shit, that's awesome. And behind it, I want it spray painted on a brick wall.
To be honest though, like if my wife was on this podcast, I think "It Is What It Is" might be one of her hates, just that phrase in general.
Get her on. See what she says.
She says she's busy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure she'll always say that.
She is what she is.
We understand the phrase though, right? I'm trying to sum it up in as few words as possible. And I kind of thought maybe you would catch my
five
meaning
words
of what I'm going for by saying it is what it is.
The show gives me such good laughs.
I'm glad I could make you cry today.
Okay, well I'll go next if we're not if no one's opposed. Let's talk about my love, Greek mythology. The gods are fucked up. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff about all this, but I was like, let me do some research, because this Greek mythology kind of replaced dinosaurs for me growing up. I'm like, oh, these things are like cool too, and they're just as hard to pronounce. But I just remember the gods being really fucking messed up. Zeus especially is a bastard. Like
lightning bolt, bam.
He rapes women all the time. He cheats
sometimes
on his wife.
In the form of an animal.
Yeah. But then we shouldn't be surprised, because his father was like, oh shit, I don't remember the name, but I think it was, the mom was Gaia, I believe. And like they had children, but then the father was like, one day one of these guys are going to grow up and replace me. So he would just eat the children. He would swallow the children. And then one day my guy was like, no, I want this one to live. So I'll just say this is my child, and it's actually a rock. But then the fucking mom sleeps with the son and gets the son to kill there's a lot of incest, lots of it.
And you love this, right? I just want to be clear.
Okay, hold on though. Okay, so all that's messed up with the gods, right? And then you have the creatures, which I think overall that's what I'm a fan of. You have your heroes like Hercules, Achilles, and stuff, but I think I really like the creatures. The centaur is a great gift. I love horses, and I love man. And
how much to shove those two together.
And then of course Medusa is iconic as hell. That whole idea is great. And then you have the Trojan War. That's kind of like interwoven, like the gods interact and shit like that. And Odyssey stemming from that.
Iliad, the Odyssey, the two classics.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you guys are into it as well?
Yeah, definitely. And there's like a lot of modern culture based on just like retelling those stories, which is great. Like there's a couple books I read in the last couple of years called one is The Song of Achilles, and it's all about it's like from the point of view of Patroclus, who was like his lover, but
I
like
didn't know that.
not he wasn't really like a fighter or anything, but he and Achilles were like a couple through everything. And so like just the way they tell the story from his point of view is really cool. And then
From behind.
then the same author wrote Circe, which is all about Circe, the I don't think she's a full goddess. I don't remember actually. I think she's a witch maybe. But anyway, like it tells her early life, and then like Odysseus ends up on her island during the Odyssey, but you like get to see the story from her point of view, which was really cool. And then there's a video game, Hades, that came out a couple of years ago, which like the gameplay is just like button mashing, like action RPG or whatever, but then like all the cutscenes are like soap opera based on Greek mythology, which like all the classics are there, like Zeus and Ares and Athena and Artemis and the rest, like just
And the rest.
all them fighting with each other and like trying to get you to like give that, go on their side of stuff. And it's pretty awesome.
Matt, how you feel about all this?
I'm kind of indifferent to it all. I understand how, Greek mythology has shaped modern culture and stories as we've told them over the centuries. But I kind of missed, I actually, now that I was kind of thinking back, I kind of missed somehow there was a whole English class. I don't know if it was a whole semester or whatever back in high school. It must have been 8th or 9th grade or something, but I ended up missing that because I was kind of between schools. So like they had Greek mythology in English class in like 8th grade, but I wasn't actually in Neilsville for 8th grade, and then I came back 10th grade, and I ended up missing the whole. I never. Bottom line, in school, I never had a whole Greek mythology thing, and everybody in Neilsville did, because I heard reference to it several times over the years. But yeah, I understand the appeal. I kind of think of it like Bible stories. I mean, it really is a lot like Bible stories. And right or wrong, it has shaped the way we think, and again, the way we tell stories. But what I don't understand, Vince, is if Greek mythology, if it's okay for Greek mythology to shape modern culture, why is it not okay for Led Zeppelin to rip off old timey blues to shape modern culture? But if you want to go with that, feel free.
Well, okay. I really want to get off of the Led Zeppelin and stuff.
Oh,
like
I want to keep going. I want to keep going. No, that's fine.
Well, it's just that theirs were so much more blatant. Like I have listened to the examples, the people that have successfully sued them over the years, and they keep popping up. Like there's like one popped up again, maybe 2 years ago, something like that. I don't know why they wait so long to finally ask,
right?
But yeah, I don't know. It's a lot more. It's a lot different when I hear certain bands are like, oh, this melody is kind of stolen. The way the bass plays, that's kind of like what these vocals were, and you're like, eh. But with Led Zeppelin, if you listen to what exactly they stole, like, yeah, holy shit, it's pretty blunt. But then again, the band themselves were like, listen, we're gonna steal, and what's that one? It's like, it's better to beg for forgiveness than to ask permission or something like that. Yeah, so they were just like, it is what it is, mate. Yeah. They were British. But then the Greek mythology thing, okay, you were like, oh, it's kind of like biblical, right? So I'm talking to my friend and I'm talking about Greek mythology. I'm like, and then Achilles, man, they dipped him, but like, his ankle wasn't completely dipped because that's how they held him. Well, and then Hercules, he fought Cerberus. And then who was that one guy who like he had superpower, like he was super strong, but they cut his hair. And then my friend stopped and he got real serious. He was like, that's Samson, and that's from the Bible. That happened. And I was frozen. I was like, I don't know what to. I want to laugh at your face, but we're friends. And he was so genuinely serious about it. Oh, good times. Good times.
Good times. So yes, going back, stories that get passed on over the years. So how far back does Greek mythology go? Does anyone know how far back we're talking with Greek mythology?
How far back? Jeez.
Like where did the stories start? Greece,
Like,
but like when? Do we know?
Ancient Greece. Does that help?
No.
Forget
it. That's
let
fine.
me just do some great search engine usage here. Iliad written when? 8th century BC was when Homer wrote it down, it looks like. And obviously that was already a oral tradition before that. So
Right.
yeah, 3,000 or so years. I don't know.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm just kind of mentally doing mental exercises, like what influenced what as far as Bible stories versus Greek mythology. And I would imagine, I mean, if we're talking 3,000 years, you know, the Greek philosophizers and the Greek stories come first, and then the Bible steals what it wants to steal, or the people that write the Bible, they're influenced by those stories and have their own interpretations and their own takes, and then things just kind of spiral from there. And we are where we are now, which is still influenced by all that stuff.
We are where we are.
I read a book. It's somewhat convincing that the book of Mark, which was like the first gospel that talks about Jesus, that was basically a retelling of the Odyssey in a weird way.
Whoa.
Yeah. Because he was saying like at that time it was pretty common for just as like a literary exercise that people would tell their own version of that story, or you know, just old Greek stories in general. And you know, the Jesus narrative was coming around at that time, so Mark was like, oh yeah, let me use this for my exercise or whatever. And then all the other gospels are kind of based off of that one with their own stuff added to it, and so on and so forth.
That's cool stuff. I've never heard that before. Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a widely accepted
I'm sure it's not.
Criticism or, you know, belief or whatever, but I thought it was an interesting argument to make.
If you wanna watch some movies based on this stuff, fucking Clash of the Titans, it's great. It was always weird that Kevin Smith bashed it in his movie. And then Hercules, the Disney one, it's not bad. It's not bad. And then Troy is sweet. Love Troy. And then there was a fourth one, but I don't recall anymore. But no, all really good stuff. I could still get into it to this day. And yeah, the research and remembering how fucked up the gods are, especially, is just like, oh god,
scary shit. It really is scary shit. Like these were the stories that they wanted to tell people. Like, are they trying to frighten people? Is that where this all started? Are we trying to actually scare people? Like, if you do bad, this is what's going to happen. You know, I mean, it's like introducing this whole idea of bad things are out there. Listen to this story. But also, I mean, violence that brings an audience though too. I mean, people are attracted to violence even 3,000 years ago, I would imagine. It's just,
yeah, I mean, there's definitely like different types of stories. Like some of them are definitely like morality lessons, like, you know, don't do this if you don't want to push a boulder up a hill every day for all of eternity. And like just some of them are like explaining like natural phenomenon. Like, isn't Apollo like the sun just riding his chariot across the sky every day and stuff? And then like, oh yeah, that those stars kind of look like a hunter. Like,
Mhm.
what did Orion do?
Yeah, but fucking the gods were so petty, like
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
that is probably the worst part of the Greek mythology for me. Yeah, and like I said, I was like gods, then there's the creatures, and then the heroes. Creatures, I like the creatures. It's just imaginative. And Pegasus, come on, man, it's awesome. Hydra, you could just name drop a bunch of creatures that I
I was
like.
actually gonna make fun of like, oh, who would have thought to put wings on a horse? But Hydra is pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to move on?
Sure. That's to me, eh? Let's see. I love working from home. Now, this may not sound like a terribly unpopular opinion, but you would be surprised at the number of people I've talked to who prefer going into the office, or at least they like having the option to work from home half the time, but then still, I would imagine it's social interaction and stuff like that. I want to get out of the house. Some people have this urge just to get out of the damn house, but I love working from home. I've been working from home for a long time, 8 years or so now. And I love it. I love not commuting. I love having the option to just roll out of bed and start working. Um, I definitely don't get as much exercise as I should, just walking around daily a lot of times. But I love having the freedom to just, well, and this comes with freedom of hours though too. Like I'm getting work done and I just kind of make my own schedule and I get work done when I get work done. It's awesome, having kids and having the freedom to work around the schedule of the kids. So this doesn't need to be a big, long thing. I just love it. And I kind of understand where some people are coming from when they say that they want to work in the office, but ultimately, upsides, downsides, I don't understand why more people wouldn't want to work from home. And there's sort of a backlash going on right now. Like there's a lot of companies out there losing a lot of money with the stock market, Fortune 500 companies and so on and so forth. And it seems like every week something comes out about some company that is putting a mandate out there that more people need to work from the office, like 80% of the time. I think Disney was the one that came out this week. They need all their executives and all their corporate employees working from the office now. And I don't understand it. I think a Pandora's box has opened up here.
Greek mythology.
If you're capable of working from home, like that's a selling point to me. There's going to be a lot of people in the coming years that want to work from home. And if you don't allow them to work from home, there's a real possibility you're going to lose out on a lot of talent, especially talented people. Like if they have the option where they can work for a company where they can work from home, that's where they're going to go. And if you don't have the flexibility to allow that, you're going to miss out on that talent. Any other thoughts on this?
I love the option. And like, I would hate it if I had to go in to the office, even if like the amount I had to go in was less than what I'm going in already, just because like, oh, you're making me do it now. But in the summer, I ride my bike in the winter I ride the bus, so it's not like a commuting problem for me. Like I don't have to sit in traffic or anything. If I did have to sit in traffic, I would hate it probably. My company has even pre-COVID, they never had people like any requirements to work in an office. Like you could pretty much work from wherever you want, which was nice. And as I talked about in a past episode, my love for the Minneapolis Skyway is a big reason I enjoy actually going into the office. Even if there's like nobody else in the office, I still like to go in, and then like when it's cold, I can walk around and all that stuff.
So how often are you working from home currently, or does it vary?
About half and half.
Half and half. Okay.
I thought You should have said a third and a third and a third. Okay, so I've never worked from home, but it's looking more and more appealing with every year that flies by. What I do currently is work with folks with special needs, and Jesus Christ, I could go into it, but I'm not going to. But basically, it attracts a certain worker or someone who's like, this ain't work, bro. You just order human beings around, like I've run into some pretty shady fucking people. And after a while, I'm like, I don't want coworkers. So now I work nights, and I don't really have coworkers, only at shift change, and I barely see the clients. It's basically a security job. But man, if
was your coworker Ben Stiller from Happy Gilmore?
Yeah, hey, that's a fine comparison. Shit. What is that? A hate? That's a hate.
What's a hate?
I mean, I could go on and on about just the type of people that this work attracts, because you don't really need experience, background checks is not a thing. I don't know. Oh God, I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, working from home, I'd have to figure out what to do. There's like, oh, you could do not telemarketing, but where they call you with like, hey, my fucking satellite dish is on.
Oh, like tech support.
Yeah, and I've done that, and I actually prefer that way more than telemarketing. That I could handle because they actually want to talk to me. It's not like, please give me a few seconds to, like it's not like that.
Not like this podcast where nobody wants to talk to you.
Oh, deep dig.
But yeah, that's how I feel. I'm like, it's looking very, very appealing. Every year, I'm like, God damn it, maybe I should go back into that tech support.
And you've got to find a company that would allow you to work from home. I haven't had to look for a job in a number of years, thankfully. And I kind of wonder, again, the Pandora's box is opened, and there's some companies that are attempting to close it. They're still trying to say that they're flexible, but how flexible are they going to be? And as every year passes, how much more control do they need over their employees? And I think that's what it is too. It's all about control, right? I know where you are where you are, when you are, and what you're doing. If I can look in your cubicle, or I can look in the window of your office, I see that you're there. There's like a lack of control when you're working from home. And I think that's scary. That's scary for a lot of these companies. But the bottom line is productivity, right? Like,
well, also you've paid all that money for all these locations, and they want people to use them.
Yeah, that's true too. But if productivity looks good and the numbers look good, the revenues, the profits, the whatever, if it's all looking good, what the hell's the harm?
Yeah. Well, luckily a Pandora's box is notably easy to close, so they should have no problem with that.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll go well.
Matt, you've worked tech support in the past, hadn't you?
Not tech support.
No? Oh, okay. I thought all three of us had, but
no, my job, I work for a tiny company, and I am kind of tech support whenever it comes up, answering customer questions and stuff. And sometimes that leads to tech support, but yes.
Shit.
Not an official tech support job. No.
This might be the official push to do that. I'm like, God damn it. Because again, nights though, it's like you're constantly experiencing jet lag in some sort of way. Like it's not good for the body, and I definitely have not felt healthy since I started that. It's been like almost 3 years now, something like that. Basically,
what do you think's not good for your body? You working at nights?
Yeah, it just like the proteins change in your body and shit.
Okay, I don't know that I've looked up on this really, but so I would think that there's something about everybody else existing during the daytime and you existing at night, and then trying to sleep when the sun is up and stuff like this. I would imagine there is some body chemistry stuff in play there, but I don't know. I've never done any reading on this, but I'm working in the middle of the night a lot of times too. You know, I'm working during the day, you know, 10:30 to 2:30 or whatever. I get like 4 hours in, and then I'm getting like 4 hours in the middle of the night a lot of times too, because there's always, well, not always, but there's stuff to launch in the middle of the night. I'm a software developer, so there's always stuff to do. So you do it in the middle of the night, so in case something gets screwed up, there's not a lot of people using the system, so it's easier to fix in the middle of the night. So it's just kind of, you know, if I need to be up in the middle of the night, sometimes I might as well be up in the middle of the night all the time. But I don't know that I necessarily feel any body chemistry, or I feel different, but it's been a lot of years that I've been doing this.
That's because you're an immovable object, Matt. We all get it. You are untouchable.
Vince, you are on my case tonight.
This is coming from the guy who's wanted to introduce conflict the entire time. You know what it is, Matt? I think you can dish it, but you can't take it. I'm poking at you, you poke at me, but you're just like, hey, man.
Poke.
Hey.
Poke. I don't. This is my way of saying I don't have a comeback. So calling me an immovable object.
No one does that.
No one gets away with that.
And I find myself kind of an unstoppable. All right. Moving on. Who wants to? Is it me? Is it John?
I think it's me. I'm gonna talk about my hate, which is gluten-free baked goods. They just never taste right. And like, you know, why should I care? Like, just don't get them. Well, you know, the problem is you know, as I've mentioned before, I subscribe to one specific self-imposed dietary restriction in the form of being vegan. And a lot of places you go, like, so first off, in my opinion, you can make like pretty much any dessert and just use like oat milk or almond milk or soy milk or something instead of milk, and use like an egg replacer or whatever. And you won't be able to taste the difference, in my opinion. But with a gluten-free item, you always can tell, like, just all the rice flour or whatever flours, they just don't work the same way as wheat flour, and just always taste a little off and kind of gross. And a lot of places, they like to do the twofer. They're like, oh, we're going to make this vegan. Let's make it gluten-free too while we're at it. So, you know, a lot of times the option that I would take ends up tasting gross for a reason that I don't care about.
Mm-hmm. I like
it. But I mean, but gluten-free is good though, right? You're just saying it's not good tasting, or
I mean, like, I'm not morally opposed to gluten-free objects. It's just if you don't have any sort of gluten intolerance, or, you know, if it doesn't affect you negatively, I see zero reason to avoid gluten. If I know some people who do have negative reactions for it, and I'm glad they have those options, but
yeah, that's my understanding too. Like, I missed the whole hating on gluten thing. Like, that just kind of went whoosh, right over my head. But yeah, that's what I understand. It started with more people than we realize having a reaction to the gluten, and all of a sudden that just caught on like wildfire. For some reason, everybody thought gluten was bad. I don't know what the hell happened, but gluten's bad. So everybody's got to believe gluten. Yeah, I don't really, isn't it kind of an oxymoron, like gluten-free baked goods? Like, so it's just the type of flour that's used is different?
Yeah, exactly. Wasn't there, I don't remember what movie that was in, but wasn't there a thing with Seth Rogen where he was saying he's avoiding gluten, and they're like, well, what is gluten? He's like, you know, like things that are bad for you, you know, like fatty, sugary stuff, like that's gluten.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a lot what a lot of people believed. Whenever the hell that craze was, it wasn't that long ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, I don't know. But so yeah, okay, so you're educating me, because I've never, again, this is all over my head. I've never really looked into it. So it's just the flour, really. So you substitute wheat flour for something else.
Mm-hmm.
So you said rice flour. Is there other flours out there that you would use?
Yeah, like chickpea flour.
Okay, so that type of stuff.
Almond flour. I don't know, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And like gluten is what makes like cakes and stuff like bouncy, or breads, like kind of not spongy, but you know what I mean. And like you get a weird texture and a weird flavor when you use other kinds of flours.
Okay. I don't know that I've ever really consciously had anything gluten-free, so I don't know how much I can comment on any of this. Vince, have you?
Yeah, I should have done some research, John. I know I've eaten gluten-free stuff, and I was like, yeah, I feel all right, but I don't think it was ever baked goods. So is it that's specifically, it's just baked goods? You could have gluten-free other stuff, and you're like,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff just doesn't have gluten in it. And that's fine. It's just when you're using like artificial alternatives, or not even artificial, but just non-standard alternatives that like make a difference in the end product.
Well,
like pancakes or, gluten-free pancakes, kind of weird.
So I think that was part of the craze too. Like, like stuff putting gluten-free on their label, despite why would there be gluten in this product? I don't understand.
Like broccoli, gluten-free.
Oh man. Where are we picking up? Just moving on?
What about where are we on? Oh, gluten-free baked goods. Can't add anything to that. Nothing funny about that.
Everything's funny about that.
Agreed. No humor to be mined there.
Is it me? Is it Matt? Who's that?
It's you.
Okay. Oh, okay. Let's get into my hate. You know what I hate? Fucking strip
Probably
clubs.
me, right? Strip clubs. Go on.
Okay, so and I can state it as simply as this. I don't pay to see that shit, all right? I deserve it. I get it through dates and stuff. And of course, guys are like, yeah, well, aren't you paying that way? You got to pay for the meal, And I'm like, yeah, but when they whip them out, there's not fucking 50 drunken, strange assholes around me when they're there, And it's not like, someone next to me whips out even more money, so she just goes over there, and I'm not, like I don't pay for it. I'm not into like waitresses flirting with me for a tip. I just find it kind of like weird because like I was with my friend Jordan and he was just like, oh dude, she wants my dick. I'm like, no, she wants a tip. She's like, yeah, she'll get the tip. I'm like, no.
Wait, hang on. I want to interject there. So we were talking about weaponized psychology last time, right?
Yeah.
So you're consciously aware when a waitress is flirting and she just wants a tip. So you're hyper aware of this stuff.
I assume every girl has an ulterior motive.
Ah, there it is. All right.
No, it's I'm just like, and maybe flirting in general, like at the work, they're like, oh, you got a little work flirt or whatever, and I'm like, these are pointless. This is not going to go anywhere. Like why are you setting off certain signals and shit? Where I'm like, no, we're not ready to blast off. You're married, you know what I mean? Like it's just it's so annoying. It's so pointless to me. So to go to a strip club, and of course I feel the same way about prostitutes. It'd be very stupid of me if I'm like, yeah, but I will pay for that ass.
Well, tell us all about your first time with a prostitute, Vince.
I have had an experience with a prostitute. Her name was Star. Sure, that was her real name.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Christian name.
Yeah, I was in Hawaii, and I was with my friend Andy L, and she propositioned us both. And I'll never forget him looking to me as if, are we gonna do this? And I was like, no way, I'm not doing this. But even if I was by myself, I don't pay for it. All right. And like, even if say the stripper is like, okay, I like getting naked. They might be like, yeah, I have to get naked in front of you, you fucking loser. You can't get this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's a certain assumptions perhaps being made on their end. I'm just not into it. It's and I don't like bars in general. I have not liked bars since I turned 30, you know, and I think I was going there anyways up until that point. Yeah, strip clubs, glitter everywhere as well.
Quick little thing there.
What about you guys?
I've been to one strip club in my life. It was awkward, but I feel like if I were to go to many more strip clubs, I'd get used to it pretty quick, I think. That's all I'll say about strip clubs. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I've only been twice. One was for someone's bachelor party, and it was like a small town Wisconsin strip club, which was awkward in its own way. And then the other time was in Vegas at a conference. John McAfee, the former founder, CEO of the antivirus company McAfee, was having busloads of people shipped over to Larry Flynn's, whatever it's called.
No way.
And we're just like, okay, yeah, let's get on this bus and see what happens. And we got there, and then we're just like, are these women being trafficked? And then it just felt like weird and guilty, and then left. So yeah, that's pretty much my story.
I've been to strip clubs maybe 3 times now. 2 of them for bachelor parties. And what are you gonna do? Just stay on the bus? No, I'm not going in. The other time, I think it was my first time, and they were like, oh shit, and it still sucked. Because we went in there, and my 2 friends wanted to go check it out because I guess we knew a bartender. And they're like, oh, we could get hooked up with drinks. And I go in there, it's alcohol free. There's no
Oh wow.
I was like, this is a fucking joke. So yeah. And then there's something about the stripper mind, if you actually got to know a stripper, if you could unpeel the layers and really get to know a stripper. One was troubled. She was cool, but she definitely had an edge to her. One I know eventually became a stripper, and she was kind of on the, yeah, like, oh shit.
There's always something damaged about these girls. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying they're trying to get through college. And, yeah.
Have you dated a girl who was a stripper, or just friends, just acquaintances or whatever?
I fucked the shit out of a girl once, and years later, she became a stripper. I don't know. It's because how powerful.
Because of that experience. Yeah. Go on.
But I'm just saying, yeah, she was a little like, oh shit, because you know, we knew each other when we were way younger, but as life went on, you heard stories, and she's a stripper now and shit. But yeah.
Oh, I forgot there was a third time. I was at it was like an after work happy hour or something, like at a normal bar, or like somebody was quitting and there was a going away thing or something. And then I was hanging out with like 2 other dudes, and we're like, oh, want to go to the next place? Like, okay, sure. And we get in the car, and he like goes to this, I guess it's a strip club still, but like there's like glass walls between like you and the lady, like which I don't know if that's normal or not, but like the other guy who didn't drive and I are just like, why are we here? like I had no idea that was coming. And yeah, so
it was like a normal stripper stage, but there was glass up, is what you're saying?
I'm trying to remember. I think it might have been like smaller stages and kind of like a Benihana, but instead of,
come on, Benihana,
instead
let's
of
expand here.
The teriyaki grill or whatever, it's a glass enclosure.
That's classy. That's how you class it up, right?
I
Put
don't
them under
know.
glass.
I don't know if that. Yeah, I don't know what's considered classy or less classy.
Vince, have you ever had a lap dance though? See, you would change your mind if you ever had a lap dance.
Oh, again, yes, but I never paid for it, and it wasn't from a professional stripper. So there you go.
Oh, let's just leave that mystery dangling out there.
And no touching. Remember,
No touchy, no touchy.
no touching. So
I
Matt,
agree.
you barely. Okay, here we go. Say something, Matt.
Well, I agree. I hate strip clubs just because they are awkward. They are awkward. It's like what am I supposed to be looking at? Like you have this trained in your brain like you're not supposed to be, you're not supposed to look. You're not supposed to look, but there you are. You're in an establishment where you're supposed to look. So it's kind of like, oh, okay. I'm peeking. No, I don't need to peek. Okay, I can be I can be totally open about this. All right, I'm just watching this lady get naked. Yes, John's doing this right now. Again, it is just super awkward. I could do without it entirely.
But then I have friends who are like, that's their thing. They always go, it's just so common. It's like breathing,
Like,
wait a minute. You have friends where strip clubs are like breathing?
Did they say what they get out of it? Why they enjoy it? Like
titties, bro. I don't know. Like I'm sure I'm coming off as like the least dude ever because I was like, oh, I don't like to, or no, I'm indifferent to dancing. And then girls are like, well, if you don't want to dance, you don't want to fuck. Cause like, isn't that the thing? Like if you could dance, you can fuck. And some girls are like, hey, I'll go to a strip club as well. I'm down with it. I'm like, okay, that's just not me. It's weird. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, well, like
oh yeah, I guess now that I think about it, the guy who drove us there was either his wife met us there or was with us in the car when we went there. I completely forgot about that.
Nice. I thought you were going to say, oh yeah, now that I think about it, there was a fourth time, and then we would keep going, and then, oh yeah, I thought about that fifth time. Turns out I go every night.
Turns out he owns a fucking strip club. Come to John's.
The eighth time was just because that place has a really good buffet.
Is that an actual thing? Strip club buffets?
I think so, because I've heard it referenced in other media, in other like sitcoms.
Have you actually seen a buffet? Like the one I was at didn't have a buffet that I saw.
I was too busy looking at the titties, bro.
Yeah, right.
I have this one thing that did happen at a strip club that was mind-boggling. So I get in there, and there's a woman walking past with her tits out. And I spot her, I look at them, and she covers up.
Holy shit.
That was the first 2 seconds of being in a strip club. I was like, this is a weird place, man.
This is not for me. Apparently. This lady just told me that by covering her boobs.
All right. We moving on?
But yeah, going back to Parks and Rec, I talked about a couple episodes. That's the classic thing where strip club, they've got a breakfast buffet. So of course, Ron Swanson, his favorite food would be breakfast food. So he's loving the strip club, man. You made me think of that. Thought I'd share. Enjoy.
Who's that?
Okay, it's me. I think I'm last, right?
And what is the possible indifference?
Well, you're probably going to be pretty glad you were able to collect your thoughts somewhat. So my indifference.
Such a dad thing to say. You'll thank me later.
You'll thank me later. So my indifference is Harry Potter, the entire series. You're going to have to forgive me. I don't have the titles of the movies.
Yeah, which Harry Potter book are you most indifferent to?
Again, you'll have to forgive me. I could probably bring them up here pretty quick, but so it started off. Okay, so I never read them as a child. I never saw the movies when they came out. Started in like 2000, I think, when the first one came out. But I have kids now. and we started to try to read the first Harry Potter book. And it was mostly my wife, Amy. She was reading it to him, but I would read some chapters. I never really got into it. Amy didn't get into it. The kids never got into it. Maybe it's the kids feeding off of our energy. I'm not sure, but the kids really never got into it.
Imagine Ben Stein reading Harry Potter.
And then Dumbledore came in, made the candles float.
So anyway, we get like a third of the way into the book, and we kind of stopped. And then so then it's like, okay, well, let's watch the movies. If you kids love the movies, we'll go back and maybe it'll reignite things to read the books. So we watched the first movie. The kids really, really like it. I liked it. It was fine. We kind of started to try to read the first book again, didn't get very far. So then it moves on to the second movie, and I like the second movie a little bit less. But from what I understand on the internet, the third movie is supposed to be where things really take off. Again, I didn't bring up titles, but the third movie is the one directed by Alfonso Cuarón, however you pronounce his name.
Children of Men?
Children of Men, dude. Yeah.
Whoa, shit. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because that whole movie was one take, Harry Potter.
Yeah. Let's just go with that. Yeah. So anyway, so I'm expecting a lot from the third movie. And I kind of liked it. I kind of understood, but it never grabbed me. It never grabbed me. The kids want to continue with the movies. I'm just indifferent to all of it. I don't understand. I didn't consume this when I was a child, and I'm guessing that's probably the issue in play here. But how do you guys feel about Harry Potter?
I read all the books exactly once, and I saw all the movies exactly once, and I enjoyed that experience, and then I moved on with my life. I don't know. I get why people are super into it. Like it's a cool world and stuff, but I don't know. I'd say it's good. I like it more than I dislike it, but
I think I read the first act, I guess, of the book, and I liked it. And I watched the movies. The first, I think I saw the third one in theaters, something like that, whatever that good one was. But my problems were the acting. I think Daniel Radcliffe is not a good actor in anything that I've seen so far, although I haven't seen his post Potter stuff. So there's that, and then the structure of it is like it's a mystery. Who's behind the thing? I wonder if it's the guest star teacher of this fucking movie. You know what I mean? So that ruins it. Do the books stop with the mystery of the book, mystery of the week sort of thing? Like, does that go away eventually, or what?
Yeah, probably. I mean, like at some point, you're dealing directly with he who shall not be named, and that other stuff probably goes away. Although now that I think about it, there's probably subterfuge to the end.
Right.
Well,
yeah, I don't. I have no memory of what happened in which book or which movie was which or any of that stuff. They all just kind of blend together into one thing for me.
The third movie I pulled it up was The Prisoner of Azkaban. That was the Quran one. So I kind of figured out in that movie, yes, the very specific sequence of stuff that happens, because all three of them do have the same structure, but really they're kind of James Bond movies if you think about it. So you get these gadgets. So in all these movies, a certain gadget is introduced, or actually multiple gadgets are introduced throughout the movie that all play a role in unraveling the plot of these movies. And something clicked in me, and I immediately was like, I don't think this is for me. It's so, I don't know. It feels so weak. It feels like there's more. Like, I understand this fantasy world and the appeal of this fantasy world, but there could be so much more to it. And yes, eventually I will see the other movies. I don't know how far we're going to get with the books, but hopefully Voldemort provides some spark. Ray Fiennes, we've referenced him, and no, not that up, different pocket. Never mind. Who? But yes, Harry Potter. Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah. Me neither. God damn it. There's so many people that really do love it. Really do,
Oh yeah, that's why I'm bringing it up, because there's a gigantic culture around Harry Potter. I know people that their favorite movie, they'll say is Harry Potter, and then you say, which Harry Potter? All of them. Doesn't matter. Love them all.
Jeez. Moving on.
Moving on to what? I think that's it.
I don't know. Are we done?
I think we're done.
Oh yeah, and then we've abandoned the future. Future's dead.
What? This is news to me. What are we doing?
Hey, congratulations, gentlemen. We made the 10th episode. Never thought we'd get here, to be honest with you. I thought this was just gonna be a fling, and it might end after this, but
wait, what?
It's a nice little
The future is dead. This is our last episode.
It's a nice little landmark. I like it. Yeah. I was gonna try and whip out like old material, like the vagina chips, but I was like, I don't know. We're already talking about strip clubs. Gross enough.
You still haven't brought that up, have you?
Yeah, I don't think that's ever been referenced on mic before.
Oh shit. I meant V chips. Conspiracy theorists. It's coming.
Well, okay. So I referenced last week, I've got a new segment that I want to bring up that's kind of in poor taste. We're going to see how poor in taste this really is. I really haven't put much more thought into it since then as to whether I want to do it, but I've had a couple drinks and I feel like I'm going to do it. So I want to bring up a segment called funeral forecasting, where I have a number in mind of when you're going to die. So think of it as Vegas odds, right? So we got an over under. So I've got a number in mind. I've only thought of this for John, but eventually I'm going to get to Vince. And if you guys want to piggyback on this,
boy, every day I picture the moment when it happens.
So I have John's funeral forecast number at 84 and a half years old.
Okay. Years from now? Great.
Doing awesome. So I'm going to ask you a question, and this is kind of a fuel to the fire as well. So it's referencing past episodes, and based on your answer to the question, I'm going to adjust your funeral forecast up or down, or leave it the same. So you mentioned that you got an advent calendar from Costco, the beer advent calendar, and it never came up again, and I never asked you. So I think you liked it. You said that you liked it. So is it something where you stuck to the advent calendar and you drank one beer a day, or was it kind of thing like you build it up and then you have like 5 or 6 on a Saturday, or how did it go exactly?
It was exactly one beer per day. And should I discuss outside of that how much beer I drink or no?
So that was the lead up into other things every single day. Is that right?
I pretty much have like one beer a week, except with the exception of Advent, where I was having one a day.
Okay. See, I could never, not never, but I just wouldn't see the point in having one beer.
They taste good.
Yeah, I mean, they taste good, but then you get that tiny little buzz, and then, I want to keep that tiny little buzz going. But that was a pretty responsible answer. So what did I put your forecast at? I'm forgetting already. 84 and a half?
Mm-hmm.
Now just 84.
I think we can leave it at 84 and a half.
All right.
That's fine.
Oh, great.
So I might sneak these questions in and then not let you know that it's a funeral forecast, just so that you're not prepping yourself and stuff. But mentally, I've got you at 84 and a half, John. And that is a good thing. That is a good thing. 84 and a half is good.
Is that why you were asking me about like how often do you spill liquids in your car?
Exactly. Well, Vince is very irresponsible, so there's always a possibility of accidents happening.
God damn it. All right. Hey, I like the segment, but let's close shop. Like, subscribe, comment. This was a Few Goldilock Bears podcast with Vincent Cloud.
No, I've been John Nemitz.
Hat Megan.